Say good morning to everyone. Welcome to our Maximise Your Membership webinar this morning. My name is Anna Christie. I'm the Chief Executive at the Sussex Chamber. So today we're joined by various of the partners that provide services to the chambers nationally. So this has all been organised through the British Chambers. So we do have several partners with us today. We have Steve Charles from Quest, who provide the Chamber Protect services, the HR, legal, health and safety and tax. We have John Sawyer from Moneycorp, who provide the foreign exchange and the currency services. We also have Simon from AXA, who's on the phone and has dialed in. So AXA PPP health plans. I was also expecting someone else from the AA. I don't think they've, oh, that's yourself, Morgan. Thank you, because we were expecting someone else, sorry, we were expecting Esther. So we do have someone from AA, roadside assistance as well online. Today we'll only be covering presentations from Quest, Moneycorp, and I will provide a brief overview, but if you do have any questions for anyone, please just let us know and we can go to the various speakers today. So we're going to get started with Steve, who is, Steve Charles is with Quest, as I mentioned. He has been with the company for 10 years, successfully working with the chambers, that is, and he's been running the membership teams and commercial services through Quest.
Okay, yeah, good morning everybody. I'm from Quest. We're based in Leicester, but we are the approved recommended supplier by the British Chambers of Commerce to supply these services across the UK network, and we're currently supplying about 45 of the accredited chambers, which is almost all of them, not quite. So we're sort of one of the major suppliers of these kind of services in the UK. We sort of branded them as 4 services a couple of years ago, because what we're trying to do is to get across to members the breadth of the service that you've actually got access to, and it's more than just an advice line, it's more than just an HR service, although that is the most used of the 4. So what I'm going to do today is just briefly sort of talk through what you get for ChamberHR, Chamber Health and Safety, ChamberLegal and Chamber Tax, and explain how that's linked to the legal expenses insurance, which is also provided to you as a member. Next. So there's so ChamberHR. So ChamberHR is effectively an advice line, a website, and an insurance. I'll talk to each of those 3 elements one at a time. So ChamberHR, you've got access as a member on through 01455852037. You've got access to an HR advice line. You can call as often as you want, so there's no time limit. There's no limit to the number of times that you can call, because if you've got a complicated issue, you might need to be calling every day. It's practical, employer-focused advice, and I say that because the fact that it's employer-focused is really important, because members have said to me over the years, well, yeah, I don't need to be a member. I don't need that ChamberHR service. If I've got a problem, I'll just phone ACAS. Well, yeah, indeed, you can phone ACAS, but ACAS is not an employer-focused service. That's very much on the side of the employee. And the thing with ChamberHR is this is for the employer, and your employees cannot use it against the company. So it's very much on the side of the employer. The advisors are really experienced. They've all got over 20 years of experience and appropriate qualifications. They sit on tribunal panels. They're absolutely fantastic, and they can pretty much deal with any kind of HR or employment law issue, whatever problem you've got or any questions that you've got, you just need to phone up. So you don't have to wait till you've got problems. If you've got questions, you can just give them a call. And it's very much, it can be hand-holding support. So if you've got an issue, it's like, well, what do we do about this? I recommend you, right, sir, I recommend you do that. And then you can phone back the following day and says, okay, I did that. What do we do next? And then they'll tell you and they'll guide you through some you know, and they've helped some really lots of small businesses really in very challenging circumstances. The service is available 24/7, 365 days a year. So if you have any HR or employment law issues, you need to call this line, and it is quite distinctly different to employment law advice. A lot of advice lines that are out there will say to you, that's the law, that's what you've got to do. And ChamberHR is a bit more than that. It's definitely more of a sort of consultative approach, not just that's the letter of the law. And if you want to do something like make somebody redundant, there may be options that you need to consider, and they will give you the options. So that's the kind of difference. So it is the most used service of all of them. The feedback we get is absolutely fantastic. So I would just encourage you to use it if you have any issues. But on ChamberHR, the advice line is just one part of it, which is about the website. So also as a member, you've got some individual login details, credentials rather, that will give you access to a document library. And one element of the document library is the HR documents. There's over 400 or 450 to be precise, downloadable template employment documents, and they cover everything in the employee life cycle from recruitment to employee exit. And the latest additions to this document library, there's a section on the Good Work Plan, which came in force in April. And there's another section just on furlough with all the template letters, returning from furlough information and things like that. So there's over 400, well, there's 450 downloadable template documents, but there's also a whole host of information. So the website is very much a knowledge hub as well as downloadable documents. So if you haven't used it, I would find out what your login details are and go and have a look. Because what we tend to find is that once members realize they've got access to this really valuable resource, they use it a lot. And they might not use the advice line because they don't like to make calls, but or if they just want to do it themselves. If you're an HR manager, you might not need the advice, but what you do need is up-to-date documents. So we tend to find that some people will almost exclusively use the website and very rarely call the advice line. The biggest challenge we've got is to make people aware that they've actually got access to this thing. So you've got access to all those documents. There's a free HR health check if you want to check how compliant you are. There's a newsroom with news and legislation updates and news articles. There's a My Account area where you can store frequently used documents that you've taken out of the library. You have your own exclusive area. You can book a call back if you don't want to call the advice line. But the website and the document library is a really valuable resource. And again, we urge you to be aware of it and use it. And then the advice line and the website are complemented by legal expenses insurance. The legal expenses insurance has about 11 different areas of cover. But in terms of trying to raise a profile and get members to understand what they've got, we then split it up. And this bit is the bit that relates to employment. So if you're a member, not only have you got HR advice, not only have you got access to HR documents, you've also got employment cover, a part of that legal expenses cover, and it covers you for representation fees and awards. So that's all the pre-employment tribunal work and the bundles that need to be submitted. That can be covered. There's £100,000 a claim, £1 million in the annual aggregate cover, which is more than enough for almost all claims. The key thing with the employment cover is that it's all based on process of success. So if you have an issue and you have a problem, you need to take advice from the outset, because if you don't follow process, and this issue ends up in a tribunal, if you haven't followed process, the court will rule against you and you'll lose, no matter whatever you think the rights and wrongs of it are. So if you haven't followed process and are therefore not going to win a tribunal, it won't cover you. So it's really, really important that if you have any kind of dispute, you just need to call for advice and follow that advice, and then you haven't got a problem. And that is the most popular area of most used area of the legal expenses insurance. You've also got these days a free one-to-one review. So if you want to have a chat with a business manager about, particularly at the moment, these are really popular because people are taking people back from furlough, they're having to restructure and make people redundant. We, quite happy to have a chat with you about how compliant you are your contracts handbooks up to date, have you got all the correct policies, because a lot of companies are falling foul of the fact that they're trying in a desperate rush to restructure the business and get rid of returning workers, but they're not always following process. But unfortunately, returning from furlough doesn't give people a green light to break employment law, and the employment law regulations are still exactly the same as they used to be. So this is about trying to protect your business if you're trying to restructure it, and to make sure that it's all fit for purpose going forward. And that is also a free service. We were doing them face to face, we're not at the moment. Obviously, it's done by video conference. But again, that covers HR or health and safety. So Chamber Health and Safety is the second of the two services. And again, it's an advice line, a website and insurance. And the advice line, again, on the same telephone number, you've got unlimited calls. It's an office hours service. So if you have any questions for a health and safety advisor about risk assessments, or have you got the right compliant documentation and this sort of stuff, then you can just call and speak to a health and safety specialist, and they'll give you the advice that you need. But the key thing on the health and safety service is actually the website. So if you go to the next one, Anna, the website is really heavily used, because the thing with Chamber Health and Safety is this is all about basic compliance. And if you're not sure how compliant you are, and you need to get all the correct documentation in place, like your organisation responsibilities and structures, your health and safety policy, and all this, that's all on the website. There's over 130 downloadable documents on the health and safety website. And what we tend to find is, we don't actually get a lot of calls on health and safety, but if you look at the most popular downloads, 3 of the top 10 most popular downloads are safety documents, particularly the health and safety policy, and things to do with risk assessments, because there's risk assessment forms, there's guidance notes on how to do it, and so on and so forth. So, a lot of companies don't take health and safety very seriously, but the risks are really high. So it's important that you're aware that you've got access to all these template documents and everything that you need, including advice to make yourself health and safety compliant. It's just about the insurance. So again, as part of the legal expenses insurance, you've got access to protection against HSE prosecutions. Next one, Anna. So you've got ChamberHR, you've got Chamber Health and Safety, but you've also got ChamberLegal, which is the second most used of all services. And again, it's an advice line, a website, and insurance. Next. And the advice line is heavily used. Again, it's available 365 days a year, calls are unlimited. It's practical signposting advice, and the legal advisors, again, have all got bags of experience, appropriate qualifications, and the things that people will tend to call legal advice line about will be things like contract disputes, debt recovery is a big issue. At the moment, we're getting quite a lot of calls about property disputes and issues with landlords, and this tends to be where, at the moment, people are being promised rent holidays, but then the landlords seem to be changing their minds, and not honouring what they promised, and there's all these kind of things going on. So property disputes at the moment are quite a big topic. But again, it's all commercial legal advice. And I think what you find is that really small businesses tend to use the legal line a lot, and they use it more. They actually use it a lot more than the HR line, probably, because small businesses can find, get themselves in all sorts of pickle, really. And so whatever size of business you are, there's something in these services for you. But for a small business, the legal line is really, really important. And again, small businesses are very heavy users of it. So on the document library and the website, there's a legal document library. got over actually almost at 200 free downloadable template documents. Again, they're all commercial, business related documents. There's checklists, template contracts, guidance on online trading, intellectual property, GDPR, template letters, quite a wide variety of things. So again, I would urge you to go and have a look around the legal documents. If you can't find what you want, call the advice line and they'll guide you. If you need a document creating, because obviously 100 odd documents doesn't cover every possible legal document in the world, but if you need a contract checking, we can do that. If you need a document creating, we can do that, but there is a cost to that. But the rates that our legal people charge are a lot less than you probably find at a large solicitor, but we can help you with that if that's something that you want, but be aware it's not part of the chamber service. Next one, Anna, please. So the bulk of the legal expense insurance, which is part of your membership, is all to do with legal issues. So for your business, you've got property issues, data protection, criminal prosecution, statutory license protection, and jury service. So the jury service is kind of popular. So it covers the salary paid by your business to your directors or employees in the event that they're called up to jury service, and that's £1,000 worth of cover. The others are, as with everything else, £100,000 per claim. So those things are all to do with protecting your business. And then the next slide, Annick, and then there's a few things that are about protecting your employees. And so there are cover for personal injury, motor disputes, and wrongful arrest. So again, they don't get used a lot. I don't think people tend to forget that they're there, but you need to be aware that these areas of cover exist. There, you can get a copy of the policy from the chamber or from ourselves if you want it, and the chamber will have a document that gives you a very brief summary of all the different areas of cover. Next one, Anna, please. So the fourth service is chamber tax. Now there's no documents here, but what you've actually got is tax advice, VAT advice, and insurance. So next slide. So on the advice lines, options 4 and 5. Option 4 is tax, and you can call, again, office hours, but you can call as often as you need to talk to specialist tax advisors or specialist VAT advisors. They're different people because it's different level of knowledge. And again, if you've got more complicated things that need doing, they can do it for you. But the tax advice lines these days get quite a lot of usage. People never used to know that it was there, but we've successfully made people aware of it. And so on the tax side, you've got things like benefits in kind, capital gains tax, corporation tax calculations. We've been checking people's furlough calculations, all this sort of stuff, and it's really important because people need to get these things right. HMRC are going to be on the hunt for people who've been abusing the furlough system, so you need to make sure that you've got access to advice if you need it, and people that help you. On the VAT side, actually, when I looked at what are the most common reasons that people call the advice lines, the number one reason that people call was help with tax and VAT returns, which I thought was quite interesting. But if you do have a problem with that, again, you can call the advice line and they'll talk to you about VAT registration and exemption and all this kind of thing. So these are tax and VAT specialists. The tax advice lines are well resourced because we, as other companies in our group, have significant advice line schemes with insurance companies and things like that. So their clients, their primary source of advice will be tax. So we have as many people on the tax advice lines as we do on the HR advice lines. So it's a really good resource that I'd urge you to use. And the final thing there is the insurance. So if you are a member, you've got access to tax inquiry insurance, which a lot of companies will buy from their accountant, which is fine. The policy you get from your accountant will probably have more areas of cover in it, but this is for most companies, this level of cover is perfectly adequate. And so if you get subject to an HMRC investigation, on a full investigation or a partial investigation, or PAYE dispute, something like that, you can get insurance cover to pay accountancy fees to defend it. That's what it is, and you may not need to be buying it as a separate item. And again, that's quite well used level of cover. So in summary, as a member of Sussex Chamber, you've got access to 5 advice lines with over 753 downloadable documents. It's included in the membership fee. There's nothing extra to pay. It's because the Chamber pays for all members to have access to it. They're employer-focused services, unlimited access, all underpinned by a comprehensive legal expenses policy. And, you know, I've had people say to me, how can it possibly be free to me? Well, it's not free because you've got to be a member to access it. But the reason we can afford to resource it as we do is because we've got well over 40,000 Chamber members in the UK that the Chambers pay us for to access to it. And, you know, we have some trade associations as well. So there's a lot of businesses in the UK for who we get paid to provide the cover, and that's how we're able to resource it and keep it running. But it's a really valuable resource. Next one, Anna, I think we're nearly there, aren't we? If you want to know a bit more, or if you need a bit more, there's additional services, and if you want to know more about the services that I've just talked about, there's a flyer, there's an all members booklet that provides information why our small business, sole trade and medium business, or even a large business can use it. There's a thing called a handbook which outlines all the things you can call about and how you access it and what's on the website. So again, if you ask the Chamber for that, they'll be able to provide it. You can access the documents through the Chamber website, or you can go to www.chamberh.co.uk, which is the Chamber index page. You can scroll. Unfortunately, you've got to scroll right down to the bottom to find Sussex, or near the bottom, because it's in alphabetical order. But so you can access the website in 2 ways, or talk to your account manager, who'll be able to give you information. There's lots of marketing information and resources available to help you explain what you've got and how to access it. Next one, Anna. So if you do need a little bit more, you can, you know, we can provide it. We do an employee management system, which is a cloud-based online system to help you manage your staff and all your staff records. For a fairly nominal upgrade, you can access that. We do retained HR services, so you don't need to be signing 5-year contracts with each other. So if you need bespoke documents doing for you, or that sort of thing, we can do all that. We can do all that on HR or health and safety. If you need one-off bits of things doing, that you want a settlement agreement doing to get rid of somebody, we can do that, a few £100s. So there's a full range of additional services available should you want them. But for most businesses, the Chamber service is more than adequate. But whatever you want, we can help. The Chamber and ourselves can provide it. And finally, that's it really. If you've got any questions, you can ask me, or tell the Chamber and email it me later. I'll be happy to help. That's it.
Thank you very much, Steve. That's brilliant. I just wanted to clarify, because there's a question, is this in all membership levels? Yes, it is. So it was originally only from silver level. However, as a Chamber, we made a decision to offer this to every single level when we went into lockdown, because we could see that a lot of businesses would need that advice and that support that Quest provide. So there's a lot of free advice there, HR, legal, and it's an amazing service that you all get included in your membership. So it is for everybody. Another question sounds like vetting of non-disclosure agreements is included in legal.
Did you say the vetting of?
Yeah, David, I don't know if you want to come online. You've asked a question, is the vetting of non-disclosure agreements included in the legal services?
Yeah, thanks, Anna and Steve. So I'm at the stage where we're trying to scale. So I need to make some decisions about how we're partnering with some other people who've got their own businesses.
Yeah.
I know this area is a little bit sort of complicated sometimes. I don't know a lot about it, so I was just wondering, in principle, is that a sort of service I could pay for through the legal team?
Oh yeah, you could pay for it. I was going to say it's not part of things like document reviews and vetting of documents. We obviously have the expertise to do that, but there'd be a charge for doing it, and it's a bit hard to say how much it is because it depends on how long it takes and how big the agreement document is. Best thing you can do is if you can call the legal advice line and ask them, and they'll refer it on to you. Or if you don't want to do that, just drop me an email and I'll sort of make an inquiry for you.
Are you able to? What email address are you able to hand out, Steve? So I can put that on the chat for everybody, or are you able to?
You just give them my work email, scharles@questcover.com. That's fine. So if anybody,
Charles, yeah.
And if anybody's got any questions about anything, you can just drop me an email. And I mean, I'm sat at home going nowhere, and I might as well do something.
Brilliant, thank you.
Sorry, did you say scharles@questcover.com?
I did.
Okay, I'll put that for everybody there. Like you were saying, there's a lot of people that are going to need these services because we're coming to the end of the furlough scheme. People are going to be looking at restructuring, possibly, redundancies, property disputes as well. There's a lot of businesses that could carry on working from home, and maybe they're coming up to lease renewals and they're having some disputes with their landlords. But also with the furlough and the HMRC investigations on furlough claims and everything. So these services, please do make the most of it. So we're going to move on to John from Moneycorp.
My name is John Sawyer. I work for Moneycorp, and Moneycorp has a foreign exchange partnership with the British Chambers of Commerce. We're an affiliate partner and have been for about 6 years. Just a little bit of background on Moneycorp. Moneycorp is a foreign exchange services company and a payments company. Started in London in the 1960s by two brothers who had a shop in Knightsbridge. And they used that shop to sell tickets, tours, theatres, trips. So it was called TTT, Moneycorp, theatres, trips, and tours. And they worked out that they couldn't do anywhere near as much business in London without, because people came to them with foreign currency, and they couldn't use it. So they started up alongside their ticket, tours, and theatre trips company, and a bureau to do foreign exchange. And that became their main activity in the 1970s. And Moneycorp has existed ever since then to offer foreign exchange services and payment services to people. It's grown incredibly since then. It has 14,000 corporate accounts, over 7 million private transactions a year. Last year handled £36 billion worth of foreign exchange. And in the last 3 years, has branched out into an incredible number of countries around the world. We're now fully operational in Australia, in Brazil, all around Europe, in Australia, and Canada has just opened up Canada as well. So it's looking to move out and branch internationally, as well as being the biggest non-banking provider of foreign exchange services in the UK. Who needs foreign exchange services? Well, anybody who's importing needs to buy foreign currency. Anybody who's exporting is receiving foreign money and needs to change that into sterling. Some people have agents and reps abroad, marketing for them or selling for them, who they need to pay. And then others have international offices. All need funding, all need salaries, all need some kind of exchange. International invoicing. So we work alongside any companies in a relationship-based situation to provide foreign exchange services. With the Chamber of Commerce, we have what's called ChamberFX. It's a recognized company within Moneycorp that looks to serve referrals and members of the British Chambers of Commerce. There are 53 chambers, and I think we have member companies working with us from 47 of those 53. Others are remote, others are often referred through another partner of the chamber. How do people do their foreign exchange? Well, a lot of people would just stay with the bank that they've been with forever. And that works for them, and that's fine for them. Others may use a broker. But what we find is that the general high street bank will be charging you probably 2 to 3% away from the real world exchange rates. And we work as a foreign exchange company to get people a lot closer to interbank. And because of the partnership with the British Chamber of Commerce, any people that comes to us from the BCC doesn't pay any costs for transfers, money paid away. So you get a better foreign exchange rate, and then there's no other costs added on at all. Whereas a bank might charge you £17 or even £25 to make the payment away after the exchange deed is done. We do that completely for free. I just wanted to go through very quickly the way rates have moved and why it's important to manage any FX exposure that you have. In the last 52 weeks, sterling dollar, the high is 135 in those 52 weeks. The low is 1.1490. So that's a 14% movement in exchange rates in just the last year in sterling dollar. So if you were changing up £100,000 at the highest or the lowest, there's a £14,000 difference between the two rates that you would see as a high and low. And the same is sterling euro. Over the last 52 weeks, the highest we've seen is 1.208. The lowest we've seen is 1.06. That's 12%. So again, if you're changing up £100,000 of sterling into euros, that's £12,000 difference in the exchange rates from the highs and the lows. Rate movements are huge, and you know, anybody importing or exporting is needing to try to manage what they're doing and how it's working, and the increased uncertainty in these times adds to a lot of normal uncertainty. So we sort of use the strap line: the only thing that is certain right now is uncertainty. Nobody can pretend to know where rates are going. All the best analysis in the world cannot account for natural disasters, wars, the death of a political leader, or the sudden impact of a virus like we're seeing just now. And all these things can cause extreme difficulty for people managing their foreign exchange exposures. And as I say, 14% or 12% movement in the rates, if you have a profit margin of 10 to 15%, then it can all be eroded by not managing the risk of foreign exchange movements. So with the use of market guidance, with the use of someone from Moneycorp getting alongside you and your company and your activity, we believe and offer a service which will just help you and guide you and keep you more informed of where rates may be going, or how it's good to manage your risk. It's things like, you know, if you're buying some goods and services, and you know that in 3 months' time you'll need to do some exchange, you can do that today. So as soon as you know the contract has been won, as soon as you know the order has been filled, don't wait at the whim of the market movements until January or December, because you can lock that away today with the use of forwards and with the use of products that we have. And that's all part and parcel of the service. We give new accounts that come to us. We'll always get me as an account manager to oversee and over you know, just to watch all that's going on and be a point of call for any of the admin related stuff, and then you'll be given a dedicated dealer. So me and the dealer will be the two people that you can always go to. You haven't got to press 1, press 4, press 5 and hope that someone knows who you are. We will know who you are. We will know how you're coming to us. And it's a much more streamlined access for you to get to us. So you've got the BCC partnership benefits are the preferential exchange rates, often up to 2% better than banks, dedicated account manager, market guidance from a dedicated dealer, funds are safeguarded in segregated client bank accounts. You get the offer of dealing on the phone with the dealer or dealing online with what I understand from customers to be a very fast, very easy to use online platform. The reason why Moneycorp can offer very, very good, closer to interbank exchange rates is because we're a big customer to the banks. So Moneycorp's handling 36 to 40 billion pounds worth of FX a year. The banks are after Moneycorp as a customer. So whenever anyone comes to us for a pricing exchange market, through our business and pricing models, all the other banks will see what we need to do and sort of put in what they will offer us to do that exchange deal. So rather than you just dealing with one bank, like Barclays or HSBC, by dealing with Moneycorp, you get access to the best of all the bank's prices at any one time in like a market bartering type situation. So there's the online facility, there's the dealer facility, and you can see how managing FX risk is really important in these uncertain times, as they are in any time. It's just a case of really not just leaving your exposure to a hope or a wish that it might go higher or lower, depending on what you want to do, but actually being able to take action to negate risk at any time that you know there is exposure coming up. So the questions to ask yourselves is, are you paying too much for your FX and payments? Do you have a hedging policy for your foreign exchange? I think sometimes the best thing to do is actually, if you have a foreign exchange exposure, without any obligation to deal with us or to trade with us, it's worth just having that conversation with me just to see where the rates you're getting are, because a lot of people don't know what kind of rates they're getting. But a rate comparison takes literally 20 minutes. You give me a deal you've just done in the market, what day it was done, what rate you got with your current provider, and we can see where we could have done it. So it's a no-lose situation. You either get the assurance that who you're using is fine and safe and is treating you fairly, or you get the option for us to say, well, actually, we really could have done better there. Would you consider opening up an account? It's worth the conversation. We're not into bank replacement, not at all. You need your bank for the many varied services they offer. We are just a foreign exchange service company and a payments company. So a lot of people get worried, well, I like my bank, I need my bank, I've used my bank. That's completely fine. All we do is the foreign exchange alongside your bank. So the bank transfer goes through, we change it up and put it straight back into your bank account if you like. Or we can make the payments for you for free on the back of any FX deal that's done. So we never discourage banking relationships. I worked in banking for 30 years before I worked for Moneycorp. So I know the good services that banks offer and the necessity for having a very good banking relationship. It's just that they're not always great on foreign exchange when it comes to companies of certain sizes. I could say more, but I don't know that it's necessary. Anna will give you my contact details, my phone number. And if you have any interest or any wish to talk further about markets, then please call. The other thing is, because we work alongside the British Chambers of Commerce nationwide, I'm always willing to have a conversation with anybody about the difficulties they have or what they're experiencing, what they just wonder what markets might do, where the pound might go, where the euro might go. It's only a view. What we get access to is a lot of data, a lot of commentaries, and I put them into a melting pot each day, basically, to see where the market generally thinks things are going to go. And just to say, it's easy for you to think that if we're going to compare rates we can offer to rates you're getting, it would make sense for us to always beat the rate. But actually, as somebody who's been in banking for over 30 years, I assure you that if you talk to me about the rates you're getting and what we might be able to do, you will get a 100% honest answer. I'm not into cold call, hard sell. So if you've got a relationship with a broker or a bank that is actually extremely good, I would say to you, actually, you've got a good situation there. Still keep in touch with us, because sometimes that might move, that might change. Someone's asking me a question on the minimum level of business. It's worth the discussion, because sometimes what you can save by moving somewhere else might not be worth the hassle and aggravation of moving somewhere else. But if you see a situation where levels are going to rise, we will always be able to make a saving, that's for sure. Nearly always be able to make a saving. But sometimes for what that saving might be, it's not worth upsetting what you're doing already. I think the most important thing for companies is that the money they buy gets to where it needs to go without any difficulty, without any hassle, without any hold-ups. So if you've got a situation where you know 100% that nothing ever goes wrong, and you're happy with a cost that might be involved with what you're doing, then sometimes it's better not to upset the apple cart, as they say. But have a conversation with me, and let's talk and let's see what we can do and what we can't do, and it will honestly be a straight down the line conversation. That's it, really.
Thank you, John. I believe also that I know there's still certain restrictions on travel, but if people are considering business travel, that's where also, so it's not just the importing, exporting goods, it helps the traders and those that have international invoices or overseas offices, but it's also business travel. So if you are considering any business or anything, that's where this service can also help.
Yeah, get in touch, no problem.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to go through the other services that you get. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this. It's really just a reminder, as I said. Oops. Okay, so the Chamber is here to ensure that we can provide first-class business support through number of services and through everything that we do. And this is across the board, across different sectors, across Sussex. So we have a mission statement, which is to help your business grow, develop, discover, and influence. So I'll go into that in more detail. As John alluded to earlier, we are part of the British Chamber network. So there are 53 accredited chambers in the network. So they're predominantly the county chambers, such as Surrey, Sussex, London, Manchester, Birmingham, Northern Ireland. So we exist and we represent, it's approximately 85 to 90,000 businesses now nationally. And we all feed into the British Chambers, who help lobby and represent the business voice in London. So in terms of the mission statement, the 4 key areas, the grow, this is where you can get all of the services, and we've already had Quest, we've had Steve talking about the services there, we've had John talking about Moneycorp, but we also have the AXA PPP Healthcare, Westfield Health Plans, and AA Roadside Assistance, and new, because we only introduced this a couple of months ago, is the Chamber Finance Finder. So I know we're joined with colleagues from AXA and AA today, should you have any questions for them. But we can provide information about the other services that are on there. Now, this is usually one of the benefits that everybody can enter for free. Unfortunately, this has been cancelled and put on hold because it would not be appropriate for us to have a big celebration, spend lots of money when a lot of businesses are obviously going to be rebuilding and struggling to rebuild their businesses. So the Chamber Awards, please look out for this next year, but this is a free awards that you can enter. And, you know, it's a fantastic way to get national coverage and national representation. The prizes are amazing. You get to open up the London foreign exchange. You get to have training with RADA, and there's Facebook as well prize. So it is really prestigious. You get representation in all the press and the media, and it's a great way to really grow your profile nationally. There's different sponsorship opportunities. So if you want to grow your profile and get your brand recognized in the area, you can sponsor our events. Now, at the moment, our events are virtual, so we have got a virtual sponsorship package if you want to look at sponsoring any of these. We've also got a referral scheme. This is an opportunity for you as members to refer other businesses to the Chamber and save £50 when it comes to your renewal fee. And they too, the new company, when they join, will also save £50 off their membership fee. So it's a great way to save money. The more people you refer, the better. So, you know, it's a great way to encourage that business community. Now, there's various marketing options as well available. So everyone, every level of membership has access to the online directory. This is where you can add your company profile, your company logo, add an offer, a member-to-member offer. Can you provide some consultation, a free service or a discount to any other businesses that you're looking to engage with? You can send us news stories on a monthly basis, which we then share on our website news. So that's monthly, what's happening in your business. Share that, and then through our website, you can actually share that on social media as well. So our website attracts approximately 12 to 14,000 people per month. And then we've got social media platforms like Twitter that attracts 15,000, LinkedIn, we've got a couple of platforms there that attracts over 8,000. So it's a great way to really share what's happening in your business. From silver level of membership, you can then use the service of the editorial. So depending on the level of membership, it goes 1 page for gold and 2 pages for premier. You can submit editorial. Again, that's another way of reaching a larger audience. And from gold members, you can share corporate videos, but you can also share top tips on how to for example, how to interact on social media, how to save money, and that's shared on the business toolkit on our website. And then for Premier members, they get a dedicated web page, and that's purely advertorial. It has images, logos, links directly to the company page as well. So there's lots of different ways for every single level of member for really an opportunity for you to engage with our members and then share your business stories. Networking events are another way to engage and attract new business. At the moment, we are currently running our events. They're all virtual. We have sector-based forums, manufacturing, construction, international trade, and digital technology. These have all been virtual as well. And hopefully in the next few months, when we're able to have those face-to-face opportunities, we will look at setting up our breakfast and our lunches and other networking events as well. But there are new events coming through that will allow you the opportunity to network with businesses nationally, with the British Chambers, and globally. So we're looking at some changing the event schedule and giving you the opportunity to network with some senior ministers, policymakers, with some companies to see what they're doing, what the main themes are. There will be main themes, and also looking at trade in terms of the EU transition and what that means for business come the 1st of January. You can also look at speaking at one of our events. So there's speaker opportunities, or run a workshop. We've got all the forms on the website. So if it's an opportunity for you to really share your business skills and interact with the business audience, please let us know, complete a speaker form and send that through to us. The next part of our mission statement is to help develop skills and knowledge. So we have a number of training courses. Again, these are all virtual at the moment, but there's lots of different training courses to help you, whether it's assertiveness, resilience, managing virtual teams. And all of these can be offered in-house as well. So if you've got a team of 6 people or more that you wish to send on a virtual training course, then we can do that and provide a bespoke service. And we have recently partnered up with East Sussex College Group, who have who have £1 million funding from their adult education budget. And so they're providing free level 2 certificate training for every business in Sussex. It's not just East Sussex. For every business in Sussex that want to look at digital skills for work, equality and diversity, lean organisational management, and mental health first aid. So they're free courses. It's a great way to upskill staff or people that are on furlough that may need some skills as well. So please do have a look at those courses. Discover is all about the export prospects and the global growth. So we have a team that are dedicated to providing export documentation. So there's a number of services there that we provide for exporters that are exporting goods around the world. And from the 1st of January, we will be a customs intermediary and providing customs declarations. Whoops, that's gone on to the next slide, sorry. So customs declarations will be needed for import and export, because you will be, you'll need to pay duty and VAT, and there's processes that you need to follow as well. And this are all the changes that are coming into effect for importers and exporters. We are running seminars on this, and we do provide some customs declarations e-learning as well, so that you can find out more. But there's lots of other international trade training courses that we can provide. And other services like translation services, we have links with Department for International Trade and UK Export Finance, and we do provide updates on what's happening around the world. And the influence side is more about the lobbying and the representation. So this is where the last few months, the Chamber Network has been working really, really hard to ensure that businesses have been represented and have received the support they need. So we have been instrumental in, for example, extending the furlough scheme and making sure that there was a flexible furlough scheme still for the next few months, making sure that the loans were extended, the CBILS, and the loans available for small businesses right through to large businesses. So a lot of the support there, including those that are on working on their own. We're still lobbying for various other bits and pieces like director owners. So there's still lots of areas that we're still lobbying for. And there's going to be lots of work we're doing on the skills agenda as well. People needing to be upskilled or reskilled because they're going to be made redundant or need to transfer into different sectors, and support for young people as well who have really struggled and will suffer as well, you know, and trying to get onto the property ladder. We carry out a quarterly economic survey. This is literally just about to be launched, I think, again next week, so please do look out for it. It just takes 5 minutes to complete. But this survey is extremely influential. The Bank of England use it as one of its benchmarks to set interest rates, and it's used by HM Treasury and the the office, Independent Office for Budget Responsibility, to make sure that they can see what's happening in the economy in the whole of the UK. So it's a really influential survey that we carry out, and it's the largest business survey. You can, if you're looking to make sure that you can maximise your membership, it's a great way to look at whether you want to upgrade, which you can do at any time, to make use of the additional services that are provided. But this is not a necessity, but if you wanted to, for example, access a couple of pages or one page of in Business Edge editorial or some of the other services that we provide on the website, you can do that. So it's really just a reminder of the different services, but you know, we're here to help answer any of your questions. So if there is anything that you want to ask about your membership, we've seen a lot of businesses now asking for that HR advice, the legal advice for marketing to get their business, because they're trying to rebuild their business. They want to make sure that they're maximising the services that are available to get their business known and out there. So there's lots of different things that sometimes people forget that they have access to, and this is all free, all of these services here. So please do make sure you can contact us if you've got any questions. So it's only the bronze members that don't have access to the Business Edge. For advertising, any person can advertise in Business Edge, and unfortunately a bronze member would pay the same as a non-member, because you can, it's only from silver level that you get free editorial. So from silver level, just for a couple of £100 more, you can then have that editorial piece once a year, and that's a great way to get your business out there. But anyone can advertise. We put you in touch with a publisher, and they've got preferential rates and everything that they can discuss with you. Okay. Maybe we can go to my colleague from the AA Roadside Assistance, so that they can provide a quick overview of what this service does for our members. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity just to share the benefits that you get through being a member of the British Chamber of Commerce. So you get breakdown cover, and we do cover small SMEs, anything from 1 vehicle up to 500. The discounts that you get are quite significant. It ranges from 48% discount right up to 68% discount off our published standard rates. So it's important, obviously, we will do a lot of needs ID to see what you need the vehicles for. We'll then sort of fit you to the level of cover that you need. That price is then fixed for 12 months. If you then decide to add vehicles halfway through your contract, it's pro rata of that discounted rate. These are specially negotiated rates with the Chamber of Commerce. To take out the cover, it's really easy. You've got a special URL, which I can provide for you later, Anna. So you can go straight into our website, you can put your special promotion code in, and it'll just pre-populate your prices. Or you can call our call centre. They're open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And again, you quote your promotion code and state you're part of the Sussex Chamber of Commerce, and then they will go through needs ID questions with you, and then the cover is set up. The cover then starts 24 hours time, and then it's 12 months cover from that date. If you join halfway through the month, you get that month free, and then it's the 12 months from the following month cover. We also try to provide not just the breakdown cover, which obviously is really important, especially in this time now when if you're doing a business and you're travelling nationwide, it's important to know if you do need help, we are going to be there for you 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're trying to be as informative as we can, especially with what's happening with the pandemic, where we've given you trade body information. So it could be things like how to look after your vehicles in lockdown, what do you check for before you go on the road, the most popular breakdowns that we have out there, so you can prevent these things from happening. I'm always on hand. If I normally go through Carla, who's at the head office, but any questions at all, just please come either through to me or speak to Carla, she'll feed it back to me. So if I give you the telephone number to call, it's 0800 55 1188, and it's option 1. And then I'll have to get a special URL, Anna, which I can email across to Debbie later on, if that's okay.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
It'll take you straight into our website. Okay.
I have put the telephone number there, 0800 55 1188, option 1. And that's for the AA Roadside Assistance.
Yeah.
There's lots of different services that, through your membership, you can access. Some of them are free, some of them are hugely discounted, like that being one of them. So lots of benefits to really help you save money and to help rebuild your business. Hopefully, this has given you a better insight into your membership and what you get. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. But as I said, if you have got any questions, please come through to the Chamber. We're here to help answer your questions, to make sure you are making most of your membership, to help your business, which is really, really needed at this critical time. So thank you very much once again for joining us today.